He's one hungry hamster. Hello, folks, and welcome back to Horror Channel Reviews. And today I'm going to be reviewing Monster Blood 2. Now, I'd like to say a few words about the front cover first, as I usually do. Now, the front cover is pretty scary and pretty good, I gotta admit. You have that big hamster, which seems to be growing and breaking out of its cage, and you have the monster blood spilling everywhere over this over the table, right? And basically, what happens is that this hamster seems to, be furious. Like you can see its front teeth showing and protruding. So it may be a hint that this hamster wants to attack somebody. But that's pretty much it. So it's taking place in a classroom. I would say you have a clock on the wall and a few books, I think, and basically that's pretty much it. Some other stuff, chalkboard, I think, some sheets of paper here and there, stuck on the wall, and so on and so forth. The color is mostly green, and it is framed by the colors of the title and the title of the book and Goosebumps, the title of the book series. But enough said about the front cover. Sorry if I keep, spending too much time on this. I just want to tell you a little bit about what I like about the front cover as I start my reviews. But now let's get into the story itself. And we'll end with the summary as I decided that is the best thing to do so that I don't spoil the story or anything. So basically, the story takes place in the fall, I believe. It's basically school start, and you have the main protagonist from the previous book, from the series, Monster Blood, the first one, Evan Rush, who's going to a new school, basically. And what happens is that he tells all his classmates about the monster blood, and that gets him off to a really bad start because they start making fun of him, and nobody believes him, obviously. And the one who's having a lot of fun at his expense is a guy named Conan the Barbarian, who's basically the main bully of the book, and he loves to beat up Evan after school and in the hallways, in the corridors, and after school. He's a really unlikable character, I would say, right? And but that's not all. Evan has a teacher, and his name is Mr. Murphy. And Mr. Murphy is such a horrible person. I really hate his guts, and I think that most people would hate him. Basically, he just hates Evan, and he has him stay late after school to basically take care of his hamster named Cuddle, right? So basically, Evan has to take care of the hamster. If you wondered how the hamster is related to the story in any way, this is how he's actually part of the story, because he's in a classroom, obviously, and he needs to be fed and stuff, and yeah, you get the gist, I think. So basically, Evan has a really hard time in there, and he really hates it, and he doesn't have any friends to rely on. But then suddenly, and hopefully for him, his friend, the friend he made last summer, named Andy something. I don't know if I can find it here. Andy. I'll just call her Andy. Shows up, and basically it's a good way for them to catch up, and they speak a little bit about the monster blood and what happened last year and everything. And so basically, Evan is sick and tired of being made fun of, and especially he has a lot of bad. He has that real wish for revenge on his teacher, Mr. Murphy, because of his hamster Cuddle which is actually which used to be the Goosebumps mascot, I believe, who is actually being really hard on him and who's always on his case. Evan would like basically to get even with him. Doesn't make sense. So basically, along with Andy, he's gonna try to think about a way to get revenge, to get his revenge, right? And I do not want to spoil the book, so I'm not gonna get into what happens exactly, even though the front cover is kind of pretty obvious, I would say. And but I'm not gonna say anything about it because I don't want to spoil the book, as I mentioned. So now let's move on to the things I really liked about this book. I had a really fun time reading this book. It was such a fun read. It may not be the most, like the best Goosebumps book from the series, like the scariest, the creepiest, the most mysterious one, but it has a very nice flowing pattern, I would say. It's so smooth. Like it really goes smoothly. The reading, I mean, it's really enjoyable, man. I really really enjoyed it. I had so much fun reading it last January. I'm telling you, it was a nice book. Now, it has a very good build up. Probably one of the best build ups from Goosebumps is in this book, right? Because it really like aims at a particular toward a particular direction, but I'm telling you, there's not much to expect from this book, like apart from well, what's basically the final twist. There's not much going on in this book. It's mostly just a fun read. It's not aimless because it goes somewhere. You can clearly see that something is going to happen, but it's not. There's not much going on, right? It's not a book that really like that has a lot of development to it. Does make sense? Like the character development from the previous book was here, still here, and the characters are explored more thoroughly. But that's pretty much it, I would say. This is the thing about this book. Very enjoyable nonetheless, right? Another thing I really enjoyed about this book was the characters, like I said, Evan and Andy. They make such a nice couple, and I know many people said that already, so I'm not saying anything new, but man, they're really enjoyable. I really like the dynamic, the chemistry between these two men. It's perfect, really. Like you can really feel like those two are really good friends, and it makes the story all the more interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Something I didn't really like about the story was Conan the Barbarian. He's that big bully, and I know that there are a lot of bullies in Goosebumps, but this one, man, is so nasty, and he just beats up Evan for no reason at all. And I think in Goosebumps, there's not much done to basically show the situation. You would like to see basically, the kids being bullied, giving the bullies a taste of their own medicine or something, but it doesn't really happen that way. Usually they're more like the quiet ones, and nothing happens, and they keep being abused like in the previous book. I wish he got even with Conan the Barbarian at some point, like really like stand up for himself, but doesn't really happen that way. Although there's a really nice scene near the end, which is one of the other things I really enjoyed about this book, and I wanted to get into it. The last scene, one of the last scenes, was so good, man. I really, really enjoyed it. Most people really liked it, and I can totally understand why. That was such a great scene. I really loved it. The end of this book is awesome. It's just miraculous. It's perfect, man. I really loved it. Now, a lot of people thought that this book was better than the first Monster Blood. Personally, I believe that the first Monster Blood, due to all the mystery and the discovery, was still a little bit better than this one. But this one is definitely a great sequel, a very solid sequel, a very unique sequel, a very powerful sequel. So if I were to give that book a rating, I think I'd give it 8.5 out of 10. It was really, really good. Hold on a second. What was my rating for the first Monster Blood? Because I gotta be consistent, right? If I say that I prefer the first book over this, over the, if I prefer the first book over this one, then I can give it a higher rating, right? So I don't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. I think I gave this book, the first book, 7 or something, or 8. All right, just for argument's sake, I think I'd give that book. If I gave this book, the previous book, an 8, this one I'll give it 7.5 out of 10, or maybe 8 out of 10. That was a pretty good book. Sorry if I get, a little bit, if the ratings are a little bit messed up, because I've read these books like kind of a long time ago, and sometimes I kind of lose track of these things. But that was a pretty good book. I would say 8 or 7.5 out of 10, depending on the rating I give the first book. I would check it out and maybe correct myself on the comment section down below. I'll correct myself, all right? But yeah, this book was, I would say 8 out of 10, really. Hands down, it was one of the best Goosebumps books from, one of the best sequels, from OG62. So that's pretty much it for the review. Thank you so much for watching, and what did you think about Monster Blood 2? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. I really can't wait to hear what you have to say about it, and yeah, let's chat about it, right? That was such a nice book, and I'm glad to hear, I'd be more than glad to hear other people's opinions on it, right? So that's it for the review. Thank you so much for watching, and join our Discord, and come along, and let's all gather up as a powerful Goosebumps community, and chat about it, and have fun, basically, because Goosebumps is such an icon, and when it comes to children's books and teenagers readings, that it's worth it. And even as adults, people still enjoy those because they're so good, right? And they remind them about how they grew up and read books, right? So thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next review. Bye bye. Take care. This is Whole Channel Reviews for you, signing off. It's back. Evan Ross can't stop thinking about Monster Blood and what happened last summer. It was so horrible, so terrifying. Too bad Evan's science teacher doesn't believe him. Now he's stuck cleaning out the hamster's cage as punishment for making up stories. Then Evan's friend Andy comes to town, and things go from bad to worse. Because Andy's got a present for Evan. It's green and slimy, and is starting to grow. He's one hungry hamster.